What's up, humanoids? We are the Kayfabe Crusaders back with another episode, but this one's a little bit special.
A very bit special, baby. It's Wrestlemania weekend.
That's right. We are here in our hometown, San Jose. We're on location for Monday Night Raw.
Downtown San Jose at the Shark Tank, baby.
So we have been spending Wrestlemania week out here. I mean, it's our home. We're here anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. But we've gone
It
to all...
doesn't matter.
That's right. We have some special appearances that happened over WrestleMania week. So we'll talk about all that, review WrestleMania, talk about NXT.
Baby, live, San Jose State.
That was an amazing show. We'll talk all about that. And then we're here right now broadcasting from Monday Night Raw. So after the show is done, we'll give you our immediate thoughts. Unadulterated, unbiased, just straight from the horse's mouth.
Straight shoot.
So make sure you tune in here and let us know what you think. This is Kayfabe Crusaders. All right, Kayfabe Crusaders.
What's up? WrestleMania week, baby. The holiday season has arrived.
It was a very long week, a very fruitful week.
A very fruitful week in our hometown of San Jose, the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley.
Home of Bailey.
Home of Bailey. The Bay Area babe.
So let's start there. Let's start with Bailey. Let's talk about NXT.
NXT.
It was Friday night.
Friday night at San Jose State. What do they call that? It's just the
San Jose State Event Center.
Event Center, where they play basketball and all that good stuff. But it was like, might have been some of the best live wrestling I've ever seen.
So they set the tone nicely. Like, it started at 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
A little late start.
Everyone was rowdy though. It was perfect.
So to me, it was very much our experience of being an ECW arena kind of environment.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's something we will never be able to experience, but this is the closest thing to an underground ECW type show, where the hardcore fans and their characters and just pure wrestling.
Yeah, great matches. We're not going to break down match by match what happened, but some of the highlights opened up with Hideo Itami.
Yeah, he was great.
Against Tyler Breeze.
He got a little bit of a rough welcome because he won the tournament, right?
Yeah, I was there at Access on Thursday. He won the tournament to get into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania.
Right, so hardcore NXT fans were, basically telling him he's sold out.
Yeah.
Which, is not whatever.
Yeah,
Take it as you will, but then he put on a clinic.
Yeah, him and Tyler put on a phenomenal show. It was a great opening match. He definitely won the crowd over with his work, like he always does. Everybody knows he's talent.
And then he bowed to four corners of the room and showed some respect to the fans. Pretty great.
Another great match was Charlotte versus Sasha for the NXT Women's Title.
That was my match of the night for sure.
It was great. It was a great match. The two of them, they've worked with each other enough. They know what each other's going to do. It makes it to be a very entertaining matchup.
And they're so contrary to each other. I mean, you have Sasha Banks. She's small, short, and then we got Charlotte Flair, the taller, more athletic, the stronger of the two. But it was just such a beautiful relationship between those two.
Yeah,
awesome.
They did a great show. It was nice because as we're watching, the seats that we had were. I couldn't imagine much better.
No way.
We were right by the entrance. Great view of the ring, but also a great view of the backstage area.
Oh, that was excellent.
Where it was a sight to see because it was Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon,
all watching
Seth Rollins. It just so many people. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. Just watching all these young, hungry superstars. Going after that brass ring.
Right, exactly. I mean, I feel like when fast forward to the Hall of Fame when Kevin Nash mentioned, all the new superstars with their how they've impressed him and all that stuff. I feel like he was talking about NXT.
Yeah,
more than anything.
Because that show was great, top to bottom. Great promo from Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Oh, beautiful.
Where just challenging each other, being that they're two best friends, knowing each other better than anybody else, they're able to get under each other's skin. That's a feud that I can't wait to see evolve more and more, especially when they both move up to the main roster, because they're just gold together. They're a perfect match.
They're really great. I mean, it's the classic feud. I feel like that's going to be the first, like, when people look back on the beginnings of NXT, that's going to be one of the, like, highlights, like a kind of like a Shawn and Brett feud.
Yeah.
Where they bring their personal issues into it, whether how kayfabe or not, you know that they can take from their personal lives and turn it into gold.
Yeah. So all in all, the NXT experience was something that we'll never forget.
Never.
If you ever have the chance, if NXT comes to your town, or if you have a chance to go to Florida, just do yourself a favor and check out one of their shows, because it's phenomenal. It's wrestling done right. Triple H has done a fantastic job with that program. Spearheaded that.
It's a time machine. It takes you back to, I feel like not only just ECW, but back even further, where it's just pure wrestling show.
Yeah.
It is entertaining, but it's not the sports entertainment wrestling that we know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's got more of that old school feel to it. They don't have many promos as Raw, like storytelling like that, but they do their storytelling in the ring.
Yeah, and then when they do have a promo, they make it count.
Right, exactly.
They don't fluff a whole bunch of stuff. But what the weekend was all about, WrestleMania.
That's right.
The show of shows, WrestleMania 31.
The show of shows with the King of Kings.
Yeah, WrestleMania 31, Levi Stadium. Hot as a mother out there.
Yeah, for a little bit. For the first maybe hour or so.
Yeah.
It was pretty hot, but we got our sunscreen.
Oh, yeah.
Had our nice hats, or I had a nice hat.
You had a nice hat. I had my regular baseball cap. I was working on my tan.
It was boring. I had a cool hat. But,
So the event started out, tag team title match, Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, Los Matadores.
The New Day.
And, of course, you got to throw the Usos in there. The staple of the tag team division.
That's right.
Great ladder match. Set the tone so well. It wasn't a ladder match. Great tag team match.
Great tag team match.
It
was a way to start off the show. For a while we were watching, it was our favorite match of the day.
Yeah, for a long time, it was the one to beat.
It definitely was the one to beat. The opener. So many great high spots with a lot of great tag moves.
Yeah, double team moves.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for double team moves.
If you're gonna do tag team, that's what makes you separate than just being two singles.
Right, and I think the first wrestling that I got into was tag team wrestling, because I would watch it with my brother all the time.
I was the same way. Yeah, me and my brother, we had those foam tag team titles.
Yeah.
And that's the same. Like, if you have siblings, tag team always has a soft spot.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm that guy, you're that guy.
Yeah. And the older brother always had first choice.
Yeah, it was messed up.
So I was always Neidhart and Janetti. But yeah, great match. Lots of energy. Got the crowd really involved. Being that it was the pre-show, stadium wasn't full yet. A lot of people were still getting in, but the people that were there enjoyed a fantastic match.
Yeah, I think they missed out if they got there late. That's why
we made sure we got there nice and early.
We always, we're veterans to the game.
Yeah.
We always want to go we want to see as much wrestling as possible.
Exactly.
Because if you're going to spend that kind of money on tickets,
you better get your money's worth.
Yeah, you got to get your money's worth. Go be there for the full 4 or 5 hours, whatever it is.
I think that the WWE did a great choice by keeping the titles on Tyson Kidd and Cesaro.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll later prove to be the only champions that retained that night,
right.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But yeah, they have a lot of good steam going. So yeah, keep the straps on. That's great.
That's right.
Next match was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
I like all battle royals. The first 15 minutes is just a cluster.
Exactly. Like watching it, we're like, all right, let's just wait. The most entertaining thing in the beginning was Curtis Axel getting tossed out. Axelmania.
It took 29 people to take him out.
Hey, but you know what? He got eliminated from the Battle Royal and the Royal Rumble because he wasn't eliminated from the Royal Rumble yet. So that double elimination. So that was a nice little touch. The highlights of that. Big E had some really good moments in there. He was going to town on a lot of people. But the biggest story is Miz and Mizdow splitting.
Yeah, that's what we all expected, right?
Yeah. So we kind of expected Mizdow to win. as soon as it was the Big Show, Mizdow, and Miz as the last three,
right,
and Mizdow turns on the Miz, I knew right away the Big Show was going to win.
Yeah,
because then it would have been wasted if it would have been him turning on him and then getting the Big Show out.
Right.
So, kind of a swerve.
Kind of a swerve, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you don't want to be right.
You don't want everything to be so predictable.
No way. But as the night went on, I would have liked, looking back, I would have liked Mizdow to win.
I know,
because we had plenty of swerves.
Yeah. Big Show, I mean, I wonder what he has left to build off of. Is it because he was the last eliminated last year and Cesaro kind of had his moment
right
at Big Show putting him over,
right.
when literally Cesaro threw him over.
Right.
But I mean, it's a feather in his cap for a career that's spanned a few decades.
Mm-hmm.
So the show itself started out with the ladder match for the IC belt.
That's right.
Which we had the champ, Bad News Barrett, who came out second.
Which is despicable.
I hate that. I hate when champions don't come out last.
Pet peeves. No matter what, no matter who it is, if they're the champion, they need to come out last.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
Yeah, that got under my skin right away.
Yeah. It kind of set me in a mood where I was like, oh, like I mean, the match was great, but I mean, it didn't start off right.
Yeah. The first out was Daniel Bryan.
Right.
Which was the right move. Get the crowd pumped up right off the gate. Good call by them.
Right.
So it was Daniel Bryan, champ, Bad News Barrett.
Right. Luke Harper. Dolph Ziggler.
We had Dean Ambrose, R-Truth.
R-Truth.
And Stardust.
Right. Yeah. The wild card.
So, great match. Really exciting. I mean, you expect that with those caliber of guys.
I mean, they could do no wrong. I mean, even R-Truth, I like the way he wrestles,
Yeah. He's been more entertaining within this program for the build-up to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think that it's used the best of his abilities.
Right.
He's kind of going to top out after this.
Yeah, this might be, after, we might not see him for a while.
Exactly. Which we didn't see him today at Raw.
Right.
Oh yeah, and in case you kind of hear a little bit of background noise, we're kind of driving up right now.
Yeah, we're driving up to the city because I'm a high-class man, I'm a San Franciscan. I ain't no San Jose boy no more.
See, this guy, he's straight heel turn,
Straight heel turn on the town that raised me and, fed me and turned me into the man I am today, but I don't give a shit because San Francisco's awesome.
So in the ladder match, back to wrestling, Dean Ambrose had a lot of great spots in that match. He had that standing elbow drop that he does, but he did it from the ladder.
From the ladder.
To on the outside, which was amazing.
There was another one. Who did Luke Harper powerbombed him.
Yeah, he powerbombed
to the outside on a ladder that
broke.
That was elevated between the ring and the
barricade.
Yeah. So basically snapped the ladder in half, and he folded up like an accordion.
It looked nasty.
It looked nasty. I thought, I don't know if he was taken out. He wasn't taken out on a stretcher or anything, was he?
No, he was tended to by the refs and the doctors right away. And until we saw him today at Raw, I wasn't sure how bad it really was, but it looks like he just sold it extremely well.
Yeah.
Because it looked nasty.
He sold it extremely well, and I'm sure it hurt for real.
Yeah. There was, the ending of the match had Dolph and Daniel Bryan, the two crowd favorites.
Two crowd favorites at the top of the ladder, trading punches at first.
Yeah.
And then, trading headbutts, and then not really trading, just headbutting each other at the same time.
Oh, yeah. It was a great sight to see.
Yeah.
It was a little weird that was the finish.
Yeah.
But as a whole, the match was great.
It's hard to, what else could they do? They did so much in that match that I think that was a nice little tongue-in-cheek moment because they're basically saying, yeah, we know we're the two guys putting on the show every night, and we're going to give you something that you've never really seen before, because I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it was crazy. You don't see the Usos doing that, because the first rule of professional wrestling is
you do not headbutt a Samoan.
That's right.
Second rule is champ comes out last.
So the ladder match was awesome. Then after that, was it?
It was the Seth Rollins, Randy
Seth
Orton.
Rollins, yeah. I had high expectations for this match.
I totally did.
Yeah, Seth Rollins, who was our boy.
He's our boy.
We had high hopes for him the night, and he did not disappoint.
That's right.
The Randy Orton Seth Rollins match started out just solid wrestling.
Yep.
Kind of old school like that. But to me, what stood out the most in this match was the finish.
The finish was
The
pretty
finish
great.
was, I would say, with the exception of the main event,
Right.
which also involved Seth Rollins,
Right.
was the best finish when Seth Rollins went for his curb stomp on Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton kind of pushes him up as a little bit of elevation, and Seth Rollins springboards into the air, CrossFit style,
Yeah.
to come down to an RKO that was picture perfect.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Like, you know how like they always show those promo videos with like these highlights, like Edge getting speared.
Yeah, that's going to be one of them. They're going to add that to the highlight reel.
That's one that's going to live on. That's a WrestleMania moment right there. That was great.
Yeah.
Randy Orton getting the victory, which we knew, we called that. So let's keep a scorecard going. Pre-show, Tyson and Cesaro going over. We predicted that. We're 1 for 1.
Okay, good.
Big Show winning the Battle Royal.
Did not predict
We did not predict that. We're 1 and 1 there.
1 and 1.
We're kind of going even. Ladder match. You said Daniel Bryan.
I did.
So
okay.
So you get credit for that one. I said that it was going to be retained by Bad News Barrett. So you actually have an advantage here.
All right. So I'm 2 and 1.
You're 2 and 1. I'm 1 and 2.
Okay.
Going on to Seth Rollins and Randy Orton.
We both thought. I mean, I don't remember.
Yeah, we both.
I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was both.
Yeah, we both called it. So you're still 1 head on me on that one. Great match.
Great match.
Really, really fun. Kind of gives a hint. As soon as you have Seth Rollins in an early match, it kind of plants that seed that might not be the last you see of him.
Yeah, because it's WrestleMania and he's one of the greatest showmen. So
yeah,
you can't just one and done.
Exactly.
Because he was beat pretty handedly, like clean,
It was a very clean victory. It was a very hard fought contest, and another situation where things were done right. The WWE got this right. It's good for Randy Orton. He came back and he has a good amount of momentum. The crowd was behind him.
Yeah.
And again, it keeps the crowd energy going up high. Because when the Big Show won the Battle Royal, people were upset.
Were kind of bummed.
Yeah, because everybody wanted Mizdow, which is fine. Faces don't need to win everything. You want to manipulate the crowd, but you always want to bring them back.
Right. You can alienate them, but only so far. You gotta
exactly. So what came up after this one?
The no disqualification match between Sting and Triple H.
I was surprised how early on this was.
I forgot it was no disqualification, but that's what it says in my notes right here.
I don't think it started out as no DQ, but I think that because of all the chaos that ensued and the referee ignoring it, it just became no DQ.
Oh man, that's lame.
But this was the match that I was worried about, because you have Triple H, who has proven that he can still go.
Right, for sure.
But you have Sting, who is, was 56 years old.
That's pretty good.
But he came out, he looked good. He did not have the t-shirt, which we talked about.
Right.
Which is good. He looked like he was in shape. But, he came out to some Taiko drummers, fully face painted.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. But
it was pretty cool, but
Triple H.
I feel like it was kind of a rib, because then Triple H comes out like a Terminator, and we mark out like crazy.
Oh man, Triple H's entrance was a sight to be seen.
I bet a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was really cool.
I thought it was great. Like I could see where people could think it was cheesy, but it's WrestleMania. It was a moment, and I thought it was done excellent.
And I'm such a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, I seriously think he is the greatest success story of all time.
Yeah.
I think who else? In terms of popular culture, wow, pretty amazing. But anyway, he had like a little cameo in it, Terminator cameo, which is sweet. But it was a great beginning to it. I liked it.
Yeah, the match itself, like, the guys were working, they did a good job. It was more, this match wasn't so much built on great wrestling. It was built on great nostalgia.
It was nostalgia
and entertainment.
Yeah, it was entertaining. It wasn't these two wouldn't be wrestling for the Intercontinental belt, like showing off their wrestling prowess,
but this might have been like one of the biggest crowd pleasing matches.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of tension between the two, and then
it was great tension build for sure.
And then right when things are kind of like reaching an apex, DX's music hits.
Yeah.
And then you see the Road Dogg Jesse James, the badass Billy Gunn, X-Pac. They come out,
right,
and they are latchkeys for Triple H.
And they just kick the crap out of Sting, right?
Yeah, and that was an awesome moment. You're like, all right, cool, DX, like.
Right.
But to take it to the next level.
That's right.
NWO's music hits.
Yeah.
And then Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hollywood Hulk Hogan, which we haven't seen for a while.
Right. And he's playing the bass when he was coming out too. Old school.
Yeah, it was great. They came out on Sting's behalf, which was interesting.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because I would have liked him to continue to be the adversary of NWO, but I mean, it was a bigger picture WCW versus WWF kind of thing.
Exactly. And then
my boy, my favorite part of the match, out of nowhere, no music or nothing, in his cowboy boots, over the jeans, with his camo hat, Sweet Chin Music Sting, while he's giving Triple H the Scorpion Deathlock.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels comes out, cleans house. That was like putting everything over the top.
And he got the best response, just this crazy boo. I loved it. People hated him for it, and he just looks at him like, so what?
Exactly. DX till the end.
Yeah. He gave him the suck it too, I think.
He did.
After he Sweet Chin Music.
So you have full DX minus China.
Minus China. If she came out, that would have been pretty sweet.
Yeah, if you give a low blow to Triple H.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Not that low blow, you sick.
Clean your minds up, crowd. All 13 of you.
All 13 of you. The dozens.
And dozens.
Of fans out there.
We also met Mick Foley, which was awesome. His intro show.
Oh, dude. Sweetest guy in the wrestling business. Yeah, I haven't met everybody in the wrestling business, but everyone says.
I met a few key players this weekend. Mick Foley was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Anyway, so at the end of this match, you have DX on one side with Triple H, NWO on the other with Sting.
Right.
You get the handshake.
Wait, but first, let's go through when Triple H pulls out the.
Oh yeah, how could I forget?
He pulled out the sledgehammer, right? And then he was about to take out Sting. And then, who was it, Hall? Did Hall give Sting the bat?
Yeah.
Hall gave Sting the bat, and Triple H, selling it like crazy, was such a coward when that bat came out. And then Sting thrusts the bat down and breaks the sledgehammer in half. Very, what would you say, is that very...
It's like so symbolic.
It was symbolic, very symbolic.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, Sting's going to win.
Yeah, and then Triple H, with the broken handle of the sledgehammer, hits Sting, gets the pinfall, which surprised a lot of us. It
wasn't the Sweet Chin Music that gave him the...
No, it was the sledgehammer at the end.
It surprised us all.
Yeah, Triple H going over, which, when you think about big picture in retrospect, it was a good call.
Yeah.
Because it puts the WWE over instead of putting WCW over.
Yeah, you can't put WCW over. But if I was to bet, I would not have bet on that.
Oh, no way.
It was great booking.
And, we would have thought that a build-up for Sting and Undertaker for next year's WrestleMania.
Right, give Sting the win.
Exactly.
And then...
But maybe that's not the cards. One thing that was proven by this pay-per-view is that you can't judge the way a storyline is going until you get to the end.
Right.
And we'll get a lot more into depth on that with the main event.
Right.
But yeah, it was a nice moment. Then they had the handshake, everybody in the ring. DX and NWO, which are always going to be linked together.
Because they're all friends.
It's all the click, baby.
Yeah.
It's all the click.
Except for Hogan.
Hogan's just
latched onto the money train.
Exactly. So after that match, what came up?
After that match, it was the Divas Tag Team match.
Okay, so for the record, this is where we went for a bathroom break and to get some water because it was piping hot. But it was not because it was the Divas match.
No.
We were already going, right as soon as the match was done, we jetted up to the bathroom, and then the match started. before we were able to get back. So we didn't leave because of the Divas.
Right. We watched some of it on one of the big
TVs.
awesome screens, like in the line for the bathroom.
Yeah. So I haven't had a chance to watch it back on the network, which I will do tomorrow, first thing. But from what I'm reading and the reports I'm getting in from my sources that I have.
Your sources. He doesn't even tell me about the sources.
Hey, I have to have my own, you know. I learned that from Bobby Heenan. He didn't tell Gorilla Monsoon everything.
That's right.
But I hear that it was a well put together match, that the Divas did a great job. It wasn't a long match, but it also wasn't a short match. They're given an okay amount of time, especially considering all the blockbuster matches. So I'll give that match a chance. I'll give Divas a chance. I'll hashtag that.
Give Divas a chance because hey, they're getting better.
Yeah,
they're getting better.
That's for sure.
You know, and they got to get better because Charlotte's going to come for them. I know it for sure.
Exactly.
My favorite diva right now. Or NXT diva, I suppose.
Yeah. So then, what was after that?
After that, they brought out the Hall of Fame class. You know, gave them a little salute, and then there was that nice little promo with Maria Menounos and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan, after winning his IC title, was back there with some legends. Let's see, we had
Pat Patterson,
the first IC champ.
Roddy Piper.
Okay, he won it once.
He won it once, but that's all that counts. Ricky the Dragon, baby, Steamboat.
He won it at WrestleMania 3, one of the greatest matches of all time.
Right, Ric Flair,
he won it once. Yeah.
And then Bret the Hitman Hart, your favorite of all time.
My favorite of all time, who was one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time. I always remember back to SummerSlam, Wembley Stadium, him and Davey Boy. Yeah, that headlined it.
Wasn't the word on the street Davey Boy was kind of out of it for that match, and Bret kind of like controlled the match, you know what I mean? Like he called it all.
It could be.
I heard that. I got to read up on that, but I heard that like Davey Boy was kind of like, I don't know, maybe a little out of his mind a little bit. On what, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
The legend.
But it was a fantastic match. Right. If you're on the network, make sure you watch that. I believe it was.
I think it's gonna be the next one I watch.
Yeah, I think that was SummerSlam '92.
Yeah,
it was the one
92.
in Wembley Stadium. That's the one of the SummerSlams I remember the most as a kid.
Yeah, I think it was the crowd that's what I remember.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was at Wembley.
So Bret Hart, he was there.
But yeah, they started doing the yes chant and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then also key to that, all of those legends.
Oh yeah, that was the important part.
I have all of their autographs on my Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that's
because I'm you know, the base god does it like that.
As if I didn't hear about that enough in WrestleMania. I get it.
I get it. You've met people. You're a mark. I get it.
I get it. It's okay. I'm a mark. We're all a mark.
So
okay. So what was after that? It was the 5th match, I believe. It was the U.S. Champion match.
Oh, okay. So U.S. Championship match. Rusev.
Who came out first.
Came out first again.
Which was despicable.
And he had the better entrance.
And he had a special entrance.
Now, this one, I can almost justify in my head because it's like you have the enemy and then you have the hero come out to confront the enemy. But still,
I don't care.
Yeah.
It should be, I think it should be something that is just one of those things that are not broken. Like going out on your back kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you got it. I think the champion should always come out second. I don't see how that helps, considering Cena, doesn't get the greatest reception
anyway,
in our town. So
in heel town, baby.
And he had Rusev came out on a tank.
That was badass.
Yeah, I liked it.
Rusev's entrance was great. They had the Russian national anthem playing, which the two of us were the only two that had class in all of Levi Stadium. Removed our hats
in honor
of the Russian national anthem.
Come on, have some respect.
Come on. Just because it's not your country doesn't mean you don't have to respect it.
Yeah, come on, grow up.
And then they had a lot of patriotism promos coming up for John Cena to come out too.
But they chose like the worst. They just chose like the last 2 presidents and like.
Which are very unpopular presidents.
Yeah, and they're just gonna get booed.
You can chalk it full of like Kennedy.
Why not throw Clinton up there?
Yeah.
Everyone loves Clinton.
Well, that's a TV show.
Yeah, that's
everybody loves Clinton.
Yeah, man, he's got to get on that.
So the match was cool. It was a well worked match. There's a couple spots that I missed, which looking back and watching some stuff again. Like in the moment I missed John Cena doing a springboard into a stunner.
Yeah. I don't know how I missed. Well, I know how, but people get in the way. People hold signs.
We had great seats on the floor.
Yeah,
this is our second WrestleMania. both WrestleManias were on the floor.
That's right. That's how you do
because, as broadcast journalists, we need to have a good vantage point.
That's right.
We need to report to you guys all the important
We couldn't
things.
be way up in the nosebleeds with all the jabronis.
Come on, that's a common man.
But anyway,
so
I loved the match as well. I thought it was great. I knew it was going to be a good match because, I mean,
John Cena's a big time player.
John Cena, whatever you think of him and his character, blah, 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 he always puts on a great match.
Yeah.
And Rusev, we thought he was, at first we were like, I don't know. But slowly through this feud, he's been putting on good matches.
Yeah, Rusev's character and his performances in the ring have gotten better and better and better. And I think that he really has stepped up to show that he's a main event kind of guy.
Right.
And he has so much heat on him. The crowd hates him.
Right.
And
it's funny. It's pretty amazing how much they hate him. And he's been going against John Cena. Because usually whoever's fighting Cena gets a pop.
Yeah. But because of the character that he has,
right.
Pure hatred.
Pure hatred. It was some Rocky IV type stuff.
It was very Rocky IV, which was awesome.
Came out looking good.
She always looks good, and she was part of the finish.
Yep.
John Cena kind of like threw Rusev. Rusev knocked into her, and then
the classic
manager getting in the way.
Manager getting in the way, classic.
Yeah, so she took a good bump.
Right.
And then that just had the AA coming out of that for the pinfall. People are going to complain about John Cena winning another belt, stopping the momentum of the young guy, but this was the right way to do it.
It was the payoff because...
It's a great payoff.
I mean, last time Rusev knocked him out, it was great.
Yeah.
Technically he didn't say I quit, but whatever, who cares? And we got to remember, this is a mid-card belt. John Cena needs people that can push him to the limit, like if he's wrestling... Let's say, what is he, United States champion? So let's say he wrestles, I don't know, Dean Ambrose.
Which we're going to get to.
It's going to be good. The mid-card guys are hungry and they want to put on a good show.
I mean,
John Cena puts on a good show. And if he has someone who can bring him up to a certain level, it's always gold. He's good.
It's going back
I don't care what you say, he's good.
It's going back to like the way it used to be when Hogan was the champ.
Right.
Like Hogan was a champ, but the best matches were Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart for the IC belt.
Right.
It was Macho Man and Steamboat.
Right.
Like those were the matches, the mid card, where the guys that wanted to be the big stars proved themselves.
Right. And then you get the big, whoever's got the draw or whatever can come in and
give them the rub.
Give them the rub every once in a while,
And then from a story standpoint, it's the biggest stage of them all. America has to come up on top. You can't have that WrestleMania moment of Russia defeating the U.S. and leaving on a down note.
Right. It has to be at like Fastlane, like a lower pay-per-view, and then have the big cash-in at WrestleMania. America wins, done, There's no other way to do it. Why would you want the villain to win at WrestleMania? It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of lame.
Yeah, John Cena, it's the right call. Putting the belt on him, it's the way they have to do it. It just completes the story. It ties everything together.
And it kind of puts a little bow on it because, the feud was as old school wrestling as it can get. Russia versus U.S. Like, how many times have we seen that? And let's not forget, it's a mid-card belt. So this is going to open up a bunch of great matches. We know John Cena can put on a great match. I don't care what anyone says. He's a great worker. We may be tired of his gimmick a little bit, but damn, the dude is... I think he's the most pro out of everyone. He's the best on the mic. When he's put up with people who are at his level and change things up, nobody gets anything by him. Like, looking back on him with Punk.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were toe-to-toe.
That was gold. That was gold.
But anyway, yeah, we got to remember it's a mid-card belt, so it's going to give him a break from being the champ and being shoved down everyone's throats. Like, how we're tired of it.
It keeps the 16-time title associated with Ric Flair.
That's the most important thing, because I want Ric Flair to go down as the greatest of all time.
Yeah, and if John Cena gets the 17-time, it don't work.
Yeah, I'm not saying Ric Flair's my favorite wrestler of all time, but I think he's the greatest.
Yeah, he deserves it. Like if you think of music, just somebody who's your favorite isn't necessarily the best.
Right.
But they're your favorite.
Right.
So when you think of someone who's the best, like Ric Flair's the one.
Right.
And I used this analogy because I was talking to my girl and she doesn't watch wrestling.
Right.
Like most girls don't.
Right.
But I gave her the analogy of it's kind of like if you're thinking Grammys. And if you think if Michael Jackson has, you know, the record for Grammys or whatever it is, and then Drake comes by and breaks that record, it's not right. Like, Drake is not on the same level as Michael Jackson.
It's not the equation doesn't work out. They're not equal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Drake sells a lot of records. He's pop.
Right.
John Cena sells a lot of t-shirts. He's pop in wrestling.
Yeah.
But Ric Flair, he was a technician.
Yeah.
So, what came after this match?
Transcend generations. Anyway, it was the nice little promo with Stephanie and Triple H.
Yeah. Stephanie and Triple H come out, talk about the attendance record for Levi Stadium.
Yeah, what was it? 76,976.
Yep, broke the record, as well as should have.
As well as should have. I mean, it was really the biggest thing that's been there so far. I mean, it had floor seats, right?
Yeah,
so.
when they had the hockey game here, they didn't open up the floor. So
right.
this really should have broken that record. And then it was also the highest grossing wrestling event in the WWE history.
And not for long.
Not for long. Texas will take that.
Texas will take that for sure. There's no way it's not going to.
Yeah.
But even though we're from the Bay and we love it, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But, you know, with all intents and purposes, we should be there next year as well.
That's right. But anyway, on to the promo. It was, let's see, they come out, start talking about the attendance record, right? Mm-hmm. And then they flip it on us and they're like, yeah, it wouldn't have happened
if it wasn't for us.
Yeah, no, it was Stephanie, because she's like, and all this, it wouldn't have happened without me. And then that's
laid
where
it on
goes,
thick.
Ah, wow. And then boo, you know, laying it on thick, being a super heel. And then Triple H, you know, goes in and does the same thing. You know, we did everything, it's all us, blah, blah, blah. We own you, we own the fans. And you know,
we own the superstars, we own the divas.
We own the superstars in the back, and then that's where the music hits. If you smell, and then The Rock starts coming out.
Which we mark out for because we did not know. We try to keep everything as spoiler-free as possible the entire week.
And we did a damn good job.
I think we did. Because we were able to mark out a few moments here.
Right, definitely. And he comes out, and he comes out real slow because he's having this great reaction.
Yeah, the crowd loves him. The crowd always loves The Rock, but then he also lays out that, you know, he's an East Bay boy.
Yeah, he says he's from the East, he was born in the East Bay.
Born and raised on the East Bay, like most Samoans are.
Right. And then, so he comes out. It takes him like forever to even say anything because it's such a great response. He keeps teasing him by putting the mic up to his lips and then moving the mic back down. And then, you know, Stephanie gets upset, blah, 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 and so on. So they're arguing. The Rock says, The Rock says, you do not own me, and you do not own these fans. Everyone cheers, and he goes, and you sure as hell do not own The Rock. Mm-hmm. And then what else we got?
So then from there, Stephanie tells him to get out of her ring.
Yeah, they start going back and forth insults, and Triple H is like, "That's the last thing you're gonna say to my wife."
And then Stephanie ends up slapping
the taste out the mouth of The Rock.
Out of the people's mouth.
Out of the people's mouth. And then, you know, she goes, "What do you do, hit a woman?" And then he's staring at her like, "I want to hit you, but I'm not going to because
I'm a hero.
Because mama raised me right." You know what I'm saying? So he starts walking out of the ring slowly, and it looks like, you know, he has a little bubble go off, a little light bulb above his head, and he's like, "You know what?"
And the most electrifying light bulb.
The most electrifying light bulb in sports entertainment goes off, and then he's kind of like looking above the camera, and it pans up slowly, and then you see Ronda Rousey, the most dangerous woman on the planet, front row,
with her four horsewomen.
With her four horsewomen staring down Stephanie like, maybe I should slap the shit out of her. And then The Rock looks at her like, you trying to do this? And then
grabs her,
brings her over the rail. Actually, I think she hops over herself.
Hop, skip, and a jump?
Yeah, she's an athlete. She does it herself.
Yeah, she doesn't need it. She's not a damsel in distress.
Yeah, so she comes into the ring, and then Stephanie starts kissing ass, saying, "Oh, I'm a big fan of Ronda Rousey. We're actually friends, Rock. I don't think you understand that she's my friend, and she's not gonna slap me," and then blah, blah, blah. But then it slowly turns into Stephanie saying, "This isn't the octagon," and everyone cheers, because I kind of like that too. I marked out for that. You know, this isn't the octagon, this is the squared circle, which is the best line of that whole promo. I loved it.
Might have been the best line of the night. I mean, we really didn't hear a lot of lines.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But, so, you know, this is the squared circle, blah, blah, blah. And then I think The Rock goes off from there, because I think.
Because then him and Triple H kind of get into it.
Right. Triple H. Oh, he starts punching Triple H, or something like that, and then.
And then Triple H kind of comes up, and Ronda gives him a judo hip toss.
And he sells it and goes out the ring like reminiscent of the Stone Cold Stunner reaction where they're like flopping around like a fish out of water.
Yeah, when McMahon had to take it.
Exactly. Just spazzing out. So that was great. And then
so as then Ronda's looking at Triple H on the outside as he rolls out,
and she's like, Mal's like, that's my husband kind of thing.
Yeah, and Stephanie turns Ronda Rousey back to face her,
tries to slap her. Ronda obviously blocks that and just
arm bars her.
Standing arm bar. That's what I coined it as. I don't know really what it would be, but yeah, standing arm bar. And then we thought it could have went a little bit further.
Yeah, I think that it's something where in the moment, I wish that she would have given her a legitimate armbar, her finishing move, her UFC finishing move.
UFC finisher.
But in retrospect, with a lot of the tweets that have been going out, Ronda's kind of hinting that wasn't the last of her stint.
Yeah.
And there's kind of word going out.
Like hashtag we aren't finished yet or something like that.
You haven't seen the last of me.
Yeah, some hashtag.
So there's rumors that she's going to be a part of WrestleMania 32 in Texas. I don't know if it's going to be a one-on-one with Stephanie or maybe a tag match, mixed tag.
I think it'd be more mixed tag.
That'd be kind of cool, mixed tag. So if that's the way that it goes, where she's going to come back for next WrestleMania, then it's totally cool with her not doing that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to give away the house. You want people to have interest to tune in because they want to break those records in Texas. And getting Ronda Rousey in the ring is a lot like what they did with Mr. T at WrestleMania 1, except Ronda's like way more legitimate.
Yeah, totally. So, let's see. And then that was great. We marked out for that. And then after that was the Taker match.
Yeah.
With Bray and Taker.
So, Bray and Taker, it was pretty much what we expected.
Yeah, it was more of a psychological thing than a wrestling clinic.
Yeah, I mean, it was a show for sure. And it was very, it was Jake the Snake-esque, where it was a thinking man's kind of wrestling match.
Right.
Which was great because, I mean, at Undertaker's age, he's not going to be,
It's not going to be like Hell in the Cell kind of match.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much that he can do, but what he can do, he will do better than anyone else.
Right, he's the best at eliciting reactions, or he was selling so well in that match that I thought he was hurt again. I kind of the look on his face during certain moves, I was like, oh no, has he got another concussion? Like, I was kind of worried.
Yeah.
He did such a good job.
Yeah, and one of the best moments of the match was...
Oh yeah, by far and away the best spot.
Yeah, the two of them are just kind of, they're knocked to hell.
I think they had both had finishers on them, they both kicked out kind of thing.
Yeah, and they're both on the mat, and then Bray Wyatt does his crab walk.
Up towards, I think he starts coming towards the Undertaker.
He definitely did.
And then the Undertaker does his zombie get up,
just sit right up.
Classic sit up.
Stares down Bray.
And Bray has the first look of fear on him that he's ever had, I believe.
Yeah, he was scared of the dead man.
Right.
Because you do not summon the dead.
That's right. And so he gives him the look, and then I think he does the second tombstone for the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and Undertaker going over.
It was meant to be. Kind of gets us past all of last year's negativity.
Yeah,
and all that
and
stuff.
Bray Wyatt didn't need the win. He's now 0-2 at WrestleMania, but you wouldn't know it because he's so good at his character.
Yeah.
That it's not something that's that he hurts from those losses.
Right.
He's able to bounce back because he's a great character.
Right.
Jake the Snake didn't need to be champion.
Right.
To be a phenomenal superstar. He was just great in the ring, and that's all that he needed. Bray Wyatt, he can definitely survive this kind of loss. Just being in the ring with The Undertaker is a great rub for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's an honor in itself, and everyone backstage knows that.
Yeah. He definitely earned everything that he got in that one.
That's for sure.
What came after that match?
It was the main event.
The main event.
And boy, was it the main event.
That was what it needed to be. So that
was the best Yeah.
The best match of the night.
Yeah.
Up to this point, I still had the tag match as the best match.
Best wrestling match, entertaining wise, like that. But I mean, we marked out for pretty much everything after that.
Yeah. So with this, you had Roman Reigns, Mr. Royal Rumble 2015 winner.
Yeah.
Going against the champ.
The champ.
The reigning, defending world heavyweight champion.
Undisputed. Yeah. Brock Lesnar, and it was exactly how it should have gone.
It was a fight.
It was a fight. At first, they immediately open each other up. Not even like getting color, like wrestling, opening each other up. Like I punched you in the face and your cheek is bleeding.
Yeah, like they were just like punches were not pulled quite literally.
No,
they were getting legitimate shots in.
Right. We saw a few stills from WrestleMania tonight at Raw, and there was some crazy looking punches because like they were connecting. For sure.
That's the thing. When you're fighting Brock Lesnar, you look at the matches against John Cena, Triple H, Undertaker, CM Punk.
Yeah.
All those are physical matches because Brock Lesnar is the type of guy where if he pulls punches, it's just gonna
so unbelievable. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna go in there and it's gonna be a dogfight. Like
because he's a legitimate badass. He is tougher, meaner, stronger than almost anybody on this earth.
Yeah.
He is a freak athlete.
He's the most legitimate. He brought the most legitimacy to WWE
since Kurt Angle, and he surpassed Kurt Angle.
Oh, for sure.
So what Roman Reigns needed, because he came out to a villain's boo.
Right.
Which was to be expected.
Yeah.
What he needed to do to win the crowd over was take an ass kicking.
Exactly.
A legitimate ass kicking.
Yeah.
Come back up and give an ass kicking.
Right.
And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
He split open Brock Lesnar's head.
Right.
On
him in
on the post.
On the post, yeah.
And it was instant. It was like he hit the post, blood gushing down his face.
Done.
I think it was it Little Nature, or was it Mike Chioda, whoever the referee, he immediately put the rubber gloves on.
I think it was Mike Chioda.
Yeah, it might have been Mike Chioda. He put the gloves on to tend to it, but he never tended to it. And I'm so glad that he did it, because that's exactly what we talked about a couple podcasts ago, about when you get color, it adds to the story.
Totally.
If he would have cleaned Brock Lesnar up, that would have hurt the story so much. It would have hurt
Roman. It would have made him look like he didn't do anything.
Yeah, but leaving the blood on there really makes it like, hey, Roman's a badass too, and he can do this.
It made it more believable if Roman has a comeback kind of thing.
So, I believe the final count was 7 German suplexes. I might be incorrect.
I want to say 6.
It was 6 or 7.
I don't remember, but I think it was 6.
Yeah, I was counting, but that was
like 3 F5s.
It was 3 F5s, that I do know. And Roman kicked out of stuff. And what I liked was, while he was getting his ass kicked, Roman was laughing.
Yeah.
Like, almost to say, like, is that your best shot?
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And it's a difference between when John Cena is being a Superman character, when he's, like, facing The Miz at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But when Roman's legitimately getting his ass kicked.
And laughing
and getting up about it, that's when you respect him. You compared it earlier today to...
Tommy Dreamer getting caned. But, I mean, it wasn't as extreme, but it was the same psychology where the only thing to get him over with the fans is he'd have to take a licking, and he did.
Yeah, and he gladly took the licking.
And he gladly took it, and I don't know, it worked for us. I don't know who else it worked for.
I mean, we've been, I think in the past few weeks, we've kind of been a little bit more lenient on Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
But, I would like to think that, people are now going to be more accepting of him, because if you think about the reasons why people don't like Roman Reigns is they would say, oh, he's not ready.
Right.
He's not good on the mic. He's being shoved down our throats. Like all this stuff.
Right.
At WrestleMania, he proved that he can be in a great main event.
Totally.
He did the past 2, like last month at Fastlane, him and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
They had a great match, and we're like, okay, well, it may be because Daniel Bryan carried the match.
Right.
But when we're worried about with Brock Lesnar.
It was just a completely different match, so I feel like it was a match more suited for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, this is the kind of matches that Roman Reigns needs to have.
Yeah, he needs to have these brawling matches, because after all, he's a Samoan.
Yeah, and they're good workers.
They can work, baby.
So everybody's like, he can't come out as a champion, and Brock Lesnar just signing the 3-year deal, like.
Right.
And at that point, now
I don't think we. As soon as we found out Brock signed a 3-year deal, we did not expect Roman Reigns to win at all.
Yeah, because and especially that day, Daniel Bryan winning the IC belt,
right.
John Cena winning the U.S. title. Okay, well, if Brock is the champ, that makes sense because now those are going to be defended.
Right.
And it didn't happen exactly how, but the instance of what we called Seth Rollins cashing in.
Yep.
I got worried about it because most of the time,
when you cash in, one guy's done.
Yeah, the match is over. And, it's all done. You come in and you pry on it.
Right.
The match was still going on, and Seth Rollins' music hits.
The king of the Triple H. Oh, the
Triple Threat. Yeah, he knows how to work triple threats so well. Mm-hmm. He comes out, and I got worried because I'm like, great, now
it's just going to be
he's going to lose.
Away.
And now, it's going to be a wasted, cash in, kind of like when Mizdow had it.
Yeah.
But it just took it to another level.
Totally.
It made that match.
That was our WrestleMania moment. Right
oh
there.
yeah, we were.
This is where we looked to each other and yelled "Oh, we had no idea."
Yeah, this was amazing.
Yeah.
It was the best possible scenario because it accomplishes so much. One, it solidifies Seth Rollins as being that heel that's slimy, conniving, opportunist, kind of like how Edge was.
The way a heel should be.
Yeah, it continues to make Brock Lesnar look like a badass.
Because he was going to win.
Yeah, he was going to win. He had kicked Roman's ass. And when Seth wins the belt, he doesn't beat Brock. So Brock still looks tough. It protects Brock. Roman, it makes him, he looked so tough in that match.
Right.
And
taking that ass whooping.
And he doesn't walk out as a champ, so that takes off heat from him.
Right.
At least it should.
It should. I don't know why these people are still booing him.
Yeah, as soon as that moment happened, we stopped booing Roman. Tonight at Raw, we didn't boo Roman.
No way.
Because now it's like, well, what's your argument now?
Yeah.
Because now he's not being shoved down your throat. He's not going to be the champ. So there's no use.
So what's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem? Just you liked him before he won the Royal Rumble.
Right.
Why don't you continue to like him?
Exactly.
Like why doesn't it go back to the way it was? Because now, there's a lot of possibilities of feuds that can happen, and he can still take the time to develop.
Yeah.
Give Roman a chance. Hashtag that.
Hashtag give Roman a chance.
So Seth walking out with the belt after cashing in.
Loved it.
Awesome WrestleMania moment.
Our favorite moment of the night. For sure.
So we're going to do a quick cut to Raw. Raw opens up with Brock Lesnar coming out.
Right.
Which we just came from today.
Yep.
And he basically said...
He's pissed.
He's pissed because he didn't lose. And Paul Heyman's just laying that point down and that he wants his return match tonight.
Right.
And then what ends up happening? Seth being a great heel. I have jet lag.
Comes out as if
the match is going to happen.
Later on that night comes out as if... we're going to have a match. And I think, did he come out first or no?
No, Brock came out first and Brock was waiting for him.
Good. He came out and then he was like, as if they were going to wrestle. He was in the ring, came straight to Brock Lesnar, shoved the title in his face like, this is mine now. And then backed away and then I think he grabbed a mic and said, I'm feeling a little jet lagged.
My toe hurts.
And my foot hurts.
My foot hurts from curb stomping you.
Both of you, or whatever he said, which was excellent. And he rolled out of the ring, and or did he trip out of the ring? Whatever he did.
He basically ran from Brock Lesnar.
And Brock caught him.
And he ran through the crowd. Brock throws a temper tantrum, and then he also throws the announce table.
Yeah.
F5's Michael Cole.
Excellent.
F5's a poor cameraman twice.
Excellent. He throws the J&J security through the other announce tables.
And he's just destroying. He is the conqueror.
He's having a field day.
Stephanie comes out. She ends up suspending him, which, that's the way you have to do it. If you just sign Brock to 3 years and then he's not going to be on TV all the time, that's a good way to do it.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's smart to book it that way.
Right.
So that way you save him for when he comes back to get his return title match.
And guess what? Who's going to be coming for Seth Rollins? Not Roman Reigns, but
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton, who
beat him.
Who beat him earlier
and that sets up a good feud.
Perfect. To take up time.
Yeah.
I don't think Randy's going to get the belt or anything.
No, he's not going to, but it makes for another interesting match because it was a good match to begin with.
And they'll have even more time because it'll be the title match.
And if it's going to be at Extreme Rules, now you have another element. You can have it be, bring out the chairs, bring out everything. It can be
TLC
crazy.
Match or something, whatever.
It can be whatever. And
cage match, that'd be cool.
And something like that, it just prolongs, it builds the credibility for Seth being champion.
Right.
So that way when he has that head-to-head with Brock Lesnar, it's a bigger deal, which, maybe it's SummerSlam. Maybe that's when it happens. Mm-hmm. With Raw, the day after WrestleMania, you always expect the unexpected.
Definitely.
You always wait to see who's going to come out, what stories are going to develop. I feel like this Raw wasn't as big as last year's Raw.
Last year had a lot more surprises.
Yeah, I really like this year's Mania, but I think last year's Raw after Mania was a little bit better.
Right.
But we did get the official debut of Adrian Neville.
Yeah, and that was great.
now known as Neville.
Neville.
It was a quick match, but it showcased him.
That's got Vince all over it.
Yeah,
I'll just call him Neville.
But it was something that it was a short match that just showcased his great offense.
Right. He basically just did his finisher, and that was all.
The opening match, Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. That's a great opening match.
Great opening match.
That's the match that was rumored for WrestleMania, and then we got it on Raw. They gave him a good amount of time. Each of them looked great. Just good old school wrestling, a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan winning that match.
Had another repeat of the head butt.
Yeah, they brought that back because that was such a monumental
great
thing.
Great mat wrestling.
To begin with, like with Dolph's collegiate style, the Mexican surfboard was great.
Yeah.
Another highlight match was John Cena and Dean Ambrose for the U.S.
Probably was my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, that match had a few botches. Dean Ambrose didn't look.
He looked a little tired.
Yeah, it could be the latter really took a toll on him.
I'm thinking he might have been injured.
But despite that,
it was still
they put on a really good show. There was a lot of emotion in that match. Like there were so many attempts of the AA. Yeah. Like I lost count how many times John Cena went for it,
which is great. A lot of reversals. This is what I'm saying. Like John Cena is now in the mid card. They're putting on matches. It's not about the big moments necessarily. It's about good matches.
Yeah, we don't have to see John Cena, Randy Orton for the millionth time. Like John Cena, Dean Ambrose was fresh. It was welcomed.
They were both technically faces, but Ambrose was getting the lion's share of the cheers in the audience.
Yeah, I mean, everything about that was great. Another great match was the 8-man tag, which was basically an NXT alumni kind of match.
Right.
Because you had Cesaro and Kid with the Ascension. And then they were going against the New Day with the Lucha Dragons.
Right.
And
it was kind of just like a class reunion, but with the bringing of the luchadors.
Yeah, and Lucha Dragons, they stole the show. They were the crowd favorites from Kalisto especially.
Yeah.
Kalisto has a fantastic moveset.
Oh, the Frankensteiner?
Oh, every single time we see that, and I see it getting set up, I get excited because it's such a great move.
Such a great move. You don't see it very often either. He had this crazy Hurricane Rana thing.
Oh, yeah, he did like 2 spins around.
Around Cesaro, was it?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
That's why it's so great to have someone as strong as Cesaro. It's like you can do so much, especially that lucha style. Yeah,
that was a fantastic match, too. The Divas match.
That
was entertaining being there.
Yeah.
Because the crowd initially was shitting on that match.
Right.
And they really were chanting, whatever they could think of. There were some really funny chants.
Right.
There was "You Suck John."
Yeah. It was like
for Nikki Bella.
You Suck Cena.
Yeah, "You Suck Cena," and then "You Suck
Tyson."
You Suck Brian.
You Suck Brian.
And then for Brie Bella.
Right.
And
everyone
then,
was sucking basically.
Yeah, "You Suck Tyson" for Natty.
You
Suck Uso, which is the one that we started.
Yeah, right.
So when you hear that on TV, the "You Suck Uso," that's the one that the Kayfabe Crusaders contributed to that night.
Yeah.
I
got plenty of handshakes from the surrounding people for starting that.
Yeah.
For sure.
But you know what's funny is there was no "You Suck Punk."
I know. That's why I was
waiting for that.
I was trying to think, like, what's his first name?
Phil.
Phil. It doesn't really fit,
Yeah, "You Suck Punk." I mean, that was a lost opportunity. But they started, they won the crowd over.
Yeah, I think it was started with Natty because she started like
her and Naomi
working pretty stiff.
Yeah, her and Naomi just started to like really wrestle.
Yeah.
And then the crowd just got into it.
There was a crazy suplex. Who suplexed Paige? Was it Natty?
It might have been Natty, yeah.
Natty suplexed.
Oh yeah, the German
Paige,
suplex.
and she landed.
Oh
she
yes,
pulled it
the
up,
German suplex was great.
Right.
And then everybody started chanting Suplex City.
Yeah, exactly.
That was great.
That was a great match.
And that's the way that they have to do it. Like, people, they weren't giving divas a chance, but the divas took their chance.
Yeah.
And they made it into something like, hey, you're going to pay attention to this, and you're going to watch it. And at the end of the match, people in our section at least stood up and clapped.
Yeah.
Because it was a respectful match, and we respected them for putting on a really good match.
They won us over. Contrary to the main event.
The 6-man tag.
Another 6-man tag with the same damn people. Rollins with Big Show and Kane. You know how tired I am of those big monsters. And then we have who was it?
It was Randy Orton, Ryback, and
Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
When Ryback is getting the lion's share of the crowd and stuff like that, it's like, okay, what's going on here? We should have done something else.
Nobody in that arena was into the match
at all. The wave started going.
The wave was going strong.
Like I think the wrestlers even stopped and were kind of like looking at us.
And the lights came up.
Yeah.
So they showed it on TV.
Right.
And then was it Seth Rollins or Randy? Yeah, Seth Rollins threw the suck it. To kind of silence or to get the crowd back. But yeah, that was a main event that was such a letdown. Like,
it was.
There was some cool moments at Raw, and then it ended on such like disappointment.
Yeah, whatever. But then the next thing was kind of cool. Sting came out.
Yeah, so this wasn't on TV. This was only being shown on the network.
$9.99.
So Sting comes out. It wasn't like the best of promos, but basically it's just like, I came out, I did my thing, I've experienced the WWE. It felt like home. It felt natural. And he didn't close the door on saying he's not going to wrestle again. He's more optimistic of whatever comes.
I think it was kind of like a thing to show, I think it was leaning more, I'm still here.
Yeah, and the crowd chanted The Undertaker. That's what everybody wanted. He didn't acknowledge it, but he stepped away from the mic and let the crowd take that moment.
Yeah, it came back, because at first it wasn't as succinct, but then the second time people started doing it, it was the entire arena doing it.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was a good show. It's always fun to go. We had great seats, and I loved it.
WrestleMania week, this is our second time doing it. It's very tiring. There's a lot of events, and you can't go to every event. But for what you do, it's summer camp, man. It's fantasy camp.
It gets you into this place where it's like you're a kid again. You know, it's really fun.
So,
especially being in our hometown, we knew all the places. We knew where everything was.
It was easy.
It was easy.
Yeah.
But we didn't get the thrill of being in a different town and discovering it, because by the time we were done with New Orleans, we could navigate the whole place.
Oh yeah, it was great, and that's what I'm looking forward to. If we do end up going to Dallas next year, then that'll be fun.
That's right.
But yeah, that was WrestleMania and Monday Night Raw. So, the next podcast, we'll kind of see.
I want to watch Bret Hart and Davey Boy.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. We can go with that.
Maybe some NXT as well.
Yeah, because NXT is heating up right now, especially with Kevin Owens owning things.
And that might have been my, favorite part. It got me so excited.
Yeah, so we'll leave you with that for now. Make sure that you guys
subscribe, share, give us, something. We're trying
comment, send us an email.
Any feedback.
Yeah.
Tell us you hate us. We'll probably like you even more.
Well, we'll acknowledge it. Just tell us if you want us to review. If there's a certain match that you like and you want to know our opinion on it, let us know.
Yeah. We want people, if you disagree with us, write us, please. We kind of think alike. We need more people to disagree with us.
Yeah, if you say, hey, Seth Rollins winning was a horrible booking, and tell us why.
Prove it.
Yes.
Because I think you're wrong.
So let's have that debate. But until next time, this is Base God.
And this is J-Dub.
And just remember that sometimes when you sell out, you end up buying in, and then you gotta cash in.
That's right. And then cash out with that championship belt.
Yeah, boy.